All right, everyone, welcome back. All right, everyone, welcome back to the land of Chem. I am your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is episode 110, and today I will be revealing some critical, hidden secrets of the mysterious Osiris shaft system located 30 meters underground below the Giza Plateau. If this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the ancient technology of a lost civilization and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Please like, comment, and stay tuned. If you want to help support the channel, check out the Land of Chem members only section, link in the video description below, for exclusive research content and unreleased footage that you will not see anywhere else. If you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, check out thelandofchem.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, after you finish watching this video, check out our two new channels here on YouTube, Egypt Eats for food reviews and Egyptian Trash Cats for our adventures caring for our Egyptian street cat family. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's intro. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. And the following images come from the website of Richard Gabriel, link in the video description below, presenting details from his 2011 expedition into the Osiris shaft system. This was 11 years before my first entry into this subterranean structure, and we will start by examining some before and after pictures so you can see the differences between what it was like back then compared to today. First, here is the northern entrance into the tunnel system running below the central pyramid causeway that composes the first section of the Osiris shaft. And you can clearly see that this is an eroded hole going down into the bedrock. There are 0 chisel or tool marks, and there is a secondary hole over here on the left on the side of the northern opening, shown closer here in this image on the right. The primary opening here is about 6 feet tall and was completely open into the underground tunnel back in 2011. But this is what it looks like today. Almost the entire opening has been blocked off with this concrete wall, and the depression below the opening that you saw in the first series of images has been completely filled back in with sand in an attempt to obscure this northern opening from the public view. You can also see here on the left that this secondary hole or eroded tunnel leading back into the bedrock has also been completely filled in and hidden underneath the sand. And I recently went to the Giza Plateau to inspect this area up close because I knew when I saw these old pictures that there was a significant difference between what it looks like today and what it looked like back then, because I had never seen anything like this huge gaping hole going down into the causeway. And that is because now it is almost completely hidden by sand and the modern concrete wall. So now I'll put in a clip so you can see both openings into the Osiris shaft system as they appear today. So we will continue walking down the causeway here, and specifically I'm intent on looking at the back side access of the Osiris shaft. I'll show you the main entrance, and
I may dig out some clips from my expedition into the Osiris shaft in 2022, where Yusuf and I had a private entry into the subterranean system. And as soon as we were preparing to go down there, of course, the electricity shut off. So we got to go down into the Osiris shaft in the dark. It was awesome. And I gotta say, today has been one of the busiest days I've ever seen on the Giza Plateau. Lex is nodding her head back there because it's been kind of crazy up here today. There was a group of hundreds of school-age children flooding out of the gates as we were walking in. So it was good timing that they were all clearing out as we were coming in, but it's been busy today. En Tamale. Everybody seemed very talkative today. They probably say this to everybody, but I'm Rambo and she's Shakira. So hey, Shakira, hey, Mr. Rambo. All right. So this seemingly innocuous feature here is the opening down into the Osiris shaft. This is the top of the shaft system that descends 100 meters into the Giza Plateau bedrock. And we'll show you the opening over here.
Sorry, close the area.
I know. Hey, Osiris shaft. I know what's here. It's okay.
But it's closed area.
I know.
Where are you going?
I'm going right here.
No, closed.
No, I can go right here.
No, closed.
I'm not going in, but I can film right here. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the opening and access into the Osiris shaft. And I'll show you my footage from my special permission access. And you can see here the first ladder system that leads down to the first level. And this is a 3-level system beneath the bedrock, adjacent to the causeway of the central pyramid. All right, so that guy, they must have a, a group or some sort of, I hate to call what they do here archaeology, but something going on. Burn. Hello. All right, so here we go. This is what I came to look at. The backside access of the Osiris shaft. And for those of you that are members of the Land of Chem members only channel, coming up soon, I'm going to reveal the footage that left me speechless from an expedition to the Giza Plateau, where I discovered by far the most prolific evidence for the strategic leach mining of metallic ores here on the Giza Plateau, including the function of these shaft systems that go down into the bedrock here adjacent. So that's the Great Pyramid, and this is the Central Pyramid. The reason I wanted to come back here is to look at this access specifically. And you can see here, this is another area Not one single chisel mark. Look at how round and eroded the top of this backside access is. And they do have the lights on in there today. You can see down in there they have. So that's how sketchy it is to go down in there. You can see, yeah, you can see the, I hate to even call it infrastructure. But
you did this in the dark.
In the dark, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I wanted to show you this access, and I'll put in some diagrams at the beginning of the video so you can see exactly where this is.
All right, now, here you can see a Google Earth image of the Central Pyramid Causeway and the openings of the tunnel that lead into the Osiris shaft system. Here, the southern opening, and here is the northern opening, now mostly hidden by sand. And take note of the shape of this excavated long rectangular access here on the southern side. And this tunnel leads underneath the causeway from north to south, as you can see here. So prior to my most recent visit to the Giza Plateau, I did some Google Earth investigating to see if I could find anything of interest around the causeway of the Great Pyramid, which you can now see here, with the black basalt floor of the Eastern Temple here, and the causeway itself leading down in this direction. So I scanned down the causeway, and I immediately noticed this. These two long rectangular openings here and here running underneath the causeway. And a zoomed in image so you can see that this is the exact same configuration as what we see in the tunnel running above the Osiris shaft system, running from both sides, going below the causeway of the Great Pyramid. So I decided to go up to the Giza Plateau and have a close look at this in person. Now remember that this is what the opening on the southern side of the Central Pyramid Causeway leading into the Osiris shaft looks like, with this long rectangular access excavated down into the bedrock. So now let's take a look at some footage of what I found running below the causeway of the Great Pyramid.
And it is an absolutely beautiful day up here on the Giza Plateau, especially when you kind of step away from the crowds. And I may consolidate all of this footage into one episode where we explored the shaft systems that are in this area here. These vertical shafts rising up from the bedrock into various areas on the eastern side of the Great Pyramid. And this is what I was looking for. It's actually right here. It's a lot closer than I thought it would be. All right, and it's kind of exactly what I thought it would look like. So I'll put in a shot on Google Maps so you can see what it looks like from above. And so it's on this side of the causeway, leading down into a little hole over here. And I'm going to get down here in just a minute. Once we kind of get a look at both sides, you can see some holes here that indicate that there may have been a ceiling above this, resting on top of posts that went across, and something covering this area up. And I'm going to take a look over here on the other side. And in just a moment, I'll explain why this is of particular interest. All right. And it has some features pretty interesting. See this horizontal erosion running through here? All right, and it just passes directly under the causeway here. There's some erosion patterns in through here. And it passes through to the other side. All right, so now we're going to take a walk say we could take a walk around. Might as well go up in here. There we go.
Look at that.
You can also see down in here there's some vertical erosion down here in this direction. There's no chisel marks in here. Look at how smooth and eroded this section is. There are no chisel marks in through here. Pretty unusual erosion down through the bedrock in through here. You can definitely see some reddish brown material. It's going to contain some iron oxide. See the tip of the Great Pyramid right there. And here you can clearly see chisel and tool marks, right? So you can see the groove of the tool and its little peck marks that went through and carved out this surface. But we don't see that in the subterranean portions. It's all eroded down here, and into the tunnel is all eroded. And again, these posts are bilateral, most likely an indication that something spanned across here. There was possibly a ceiling over this little passageway or tunnel that is adjacent to this structure here. So you can see behind me this little passageway here. Great Pyramid there. So I guess let's take a look over here and see what this structure could have been. Because you can imagine some fluid flowing down in this direction.
And just a quick announcement, new Land of Chem merch is now available. I just dropped the Nano Gold 5th degree logo on a black t-shirt and hoodie. And I'm very excited to present the new spectacular White Horse logo on a black hoodie and the premium high definition extra large White Horse logo on this exceptional quality black t-shirt. And once again, thank you so much to friend and supporter of the channel, Adam Arrington from New Zealand, for collaborating with me on this new logo design. He has done some amazing work in helping me bring my ideas for the Land of Chem logos to life. And if you want to check out more of his work, I'll put a link to his Instagram in the video description below. The Egyptian blue version of the Land of Chem book and the last 30 or so of the signed first edition purple orchid paper print are still available. So if you want to show some love, just check out thelandofchem.com. And thank you all so much for the support. So now the question remains, what is still buried in all of that sand in that connecting tunnel? I'm sure you would agree that these two areas have almost identical configuration. Is this a second underground system? Were they preparing to build another one and the project was abandoned? If the Osiris shaft exists below the causeway of the central pyramid, which it does, it could be one of many similar structures that still lay hidden below the Giza Plateau. And these type of systems aren't just located in Giza. Just check out this immense underground shaft structure known as K24 in Saqqara, which features a very similar configuration to the container housings that are found in the second level of the Osiris shaft. All right, now let's jump into the system and take a look at the lowest subterranean chamber, level 3, which you can see here at the bottom of this diagram. So now we have reached the lowest chamber of the Osiris shaft system, and we are going to compare the infrastructure that was inside of this chamber in 2011 compared to 2022. And in the images from my expedition, we reach the bottom of the ladder here. That puts you onto a very small area of bedrock, looking into the chamber in this direction. Now keep in mind, my exploration of this system was done without the aid of modern lighting, as the electricity shut off right as we were going down the first ladder. But normally, these chambers are illuminated, as you will see in just a moment. So here is the first picture from my expedition. And you can see this cross beam that was installed during the modern archaeological excavations, and it was used to hold some of the pulley equipment that was used to raise the lid of the underwater container. And down below, in the murky darkness, you can see the water-filled chamber here. But in 2011, the full access infrastructure was still in place with this vastly superior lighting system and the same crossbeam still in place. And you can see here a walkway going across the water that was used to access the underground tunnel on the other side of the chamber. And yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, there is an underground tunnel that connects into this subterranean third level, which is the main topic of today's episode. And in this picture, you can still see the remaining fragments of 2 of the 4 pillars sticking out of the water here and here. But in my 2022 expedition, all of that infrastructure had been removed, leaving you standing on a very small patch of ground with no access over the water to the other side of the chamber. And you can still see those two pillar fragments sticking out of the water here and here. And here's a second image showing more of this walkway that was once installed within the third level of the Osiris shaft system. And it was completely torn down and destroyed, and most of the wooden beam fragments still remain in the water in the chamber. Now, going back even further in time, here are some images from the excavations by Zahi Hawass and team when the water in this chamber had been pumped out to facilitate the archaeological investigations, as you can see here. Now, the main reason they wanted to explore this system was to reveal the ancient secrets that lay hidden within this submerged and never before opened, quote-unquote, sarcophagus of Osiris. But of course, they found absolutely nothing, and the container was completely empty. Just as it should be, according to my hypothesis on the function of these components, a full explanation of which will be coming up soon. And you can see here that the metal ladder ends and the very small piece of bedrock where you can stand today if you go down into this system. And now the chamber has been refilled with water up to this level. Next, here is an image of the tunnel on the other side of the chamber. And they sent this kid up in there to explore, as documented in a quote from Hawass that I will show in just a moment. And this is a closer image showing the opening into this tunnel from these original excavations that were conducted while the water was pumped out of the chamber. Now here is an image from Gabriel's 2011 expedition when the walkway, which you can see here, going across the water would take you all the way over the chamber to the other side toward the tunnel. And he climbed into this hole, which he describes here as a pipe, taking pictures along the way. Further and further back into the bedrock, more than 100 feet below the surface of the Giza Plateau, until he reached an area where it was too small and dangerous to proceed any further. And I will quote here that although he couldn't proceed any further, it appears, quote, that the tunnel had been cleared out. And again, quote, so the eminent Dr. Hawass plus Japanese knew for sure already where the tunnel went, and maybe also its purpose. It was deliberate. He also mentions that GPR scans of this system and other information regarding its configuration and function do exist. And on my end, in Members Only Episode 4, I presented conclusive evidence as provided by the lead inspector of the Giza Plateau of the existence of more of these subterranean tunnels and shafts that connect the Great Pyramid into another critical component of the Giza Plateau chemical manufacturing system. So just as I have presented before here on the channel, there is a network of connecting tunnels and shafts underneath all of these structures. And this is literally just the tip of the iceberg of evidence supporting this fact that I have coming up soon. Now, on to further investigations of this tunnel system inside the Osiris shaft that were conducted by Zahi Hawass and his team. And I will quote here from Dr. Hawass's personal blog on the Osiris shaft. One interesting feature of the Osiris shaft is a narrow tunnel that extends from the northwest corner of the lowest level. This tunnel is only large enough to admit a young child at its entrance, and further along it becomes filled with mud. In 1999, I sent a boy into the tunnel to explore it. He was only able to go 5 meters before it became too narrow for even his slight frame. In November of 2008, television producer Richard Rice supplied the SCA with an endoscopic camera to continue exploration of this small tunnel. The team who carried out this effort were able to insert the endoscope only 10 meters into the tunnel before the mud inside made it impossible to go further. In December, the team returned with 2 self-prepared rovers equipped with cameras, which were able to travel further into the tunnel. At about 6.5 meters, the team discovered a branch that split off of the tunnel. They were able to send the camera 10.5 meters into this branch before it became too narrow and muddy for the rowers to go any further. The team also found that the main tunnel continues a total length of about 21 meters, where it seems to end, although it was impossible to determine this with certainty. I have been in touch with the Japanese team, who plan to bring an even more advanced robot, which should be able to continue past the points where earlier machines were forced to stop. On Thursday, June 9th, 2009, we will begin work of sending the new robot into the tunnel in the hope of finding where it leads. Hopefully, we will find out why it was carved out of the rock so deep underground. So he clearly states here that, quote, the tunnel was carved out of the rock, which means that it is not a naturally occurring structure. This also means that it absolutely had a function in connection with the Osiris shaft system. And furthermore here, I will quote again from a Dr. Hawass interview. In the lecture, Dr. Hawass stated that 2 months prior, he had brought in a Chinese researcher who had a 150-foot tube-fed camera, but it only managed to get 100 feet due to the mud. After some adjustments, they returned last month and were able to get the full 150 feet without reaching the end. The next step is to use a snake robot, and he is already in contact with the Japanese research team for that purpose. So they have already gone incredibly deep into this tunnel system. And this was 15 years ago in 2008. By now, December 2023, they absolutely know exactly where this tunnel goes, what it is connected into, and what its function was. There is no doubt whatsoever in my mind about it. This was 15 years ago, and there has been no mention whatsoever about it since then. And of course, they have completely dismantled the walkway infrastructure, allowing access to the other side because they don't want anyone going back there to investigate any further. Because what they discovered will continue to falsify the pharaonic burial hypothesis and expose the truth about the original function of the Giza Plateau system. So here is a diagram created by Gabriel that I really like, as it shows all of the components of the Osiris shaft system. Down here, it shows the extent of the tunnel that he personally explored during his special permission access into the Osiris shaft. It also shows this transverse tunnel running underneath the causeway of the central pyramid that we discussed at the beginning of the episode, that has the exact same configuration as the transverse tunnel that I discovered running underneath the causeway of the Great Pyramid. And here, he shows the direction of this tunnel system as extrapolated from the Japanese team's data, indicating that the tunnel is connected into these 2 vertical shaft systems that plunge down into the bedrock of the Giza Plateau, which I showed in episode 107 And for those of you that are subscribed to the members only channel, you may remember this. The flow diagram that I presented in members only episode 5 in connection with the footage showing the literally massive discovery that I made on the eastern side of the central pyramid. And this data from the Japanese Osiris shaft tunnel exploration corroborates my hypothesis, as shown here, as it appears that the Osiris shaft is indeed connected into these two deep vertical shafts that are excavated into the bedrock adjacent to the central pyramid. Not only that, but these shafts are also interconnected into a system running down the plateau, as you can see here in blue. And if you are interested in seeing all of this in person, we will have a private special permission access into the Osiris shaft during the upcoming Land of Chem 2024 Ancient Alchemy and Ascension Tour. We also have special permission access to Abu Sir and a private entry into all 3 chambers of the Great Pyramid. So if you want to join, please send me an email to contact@thelandofchem.com, and I will send you the full tour itinerary and pricing details. Now, for those of you that want to help support the channel, this month's members only episode will feature an explanation of the function of the Avebury Serpent Temple Complex. And for the dawn of the new year in January, I will release my hypothesis on the operation of the Osiris shaft system, exclusively for the members, link in the video description below. All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was episode 110, The Hidden Secrets of the Osiris Shaft. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. And in this week's Sunday site visit, another spectacular location from the lost history of ancient Ireland, the mysterious complex known as Noth. If this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the ancient technology of a lost civilization and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Please like, comment, and stay tuned if you want to help support the channel. Check out the Land of Chem members only section and thelandofchem.com if you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget our 2 new channels here on YouTube, Egypt Eats and Egyptian Trash Cats. Ladies and gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's episode, so I will see you next time.
Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.